to have you back on Global Business Report. Nigerian exporters, many whom are small and medium enterprises or SMEs, got 24 billion naira credit facility from the Nigerian Export-Import Bank, or NEXIM, within a year. Disclosing this via a statement, the management of the bank said the money disbursed is part of the 55 billion naira loan application it approved for the country's exporters. According to the bank, the approved loan application and disbursement is in tune with NEXIM's risk-bearing support for the country's non-oil exports. SMEs contribute to the economy by creating value through the production of goods and services, thus enhancing the gross domestic product. And meanwhile, the Export-Import Bank has come up with 5 initiatives to create more opportunities for SMEs under the trade agreement. NEXIM earlier stated these initiatives would double the bank's steps towards deepening regional trade, through which it seeks to create more opportunities for SMEs and integrate the informal traders into the formal sector. On these stories, the CEO, Credit Bureau, Tunde Poopola, joins me in the studio. It's good to have you with us, and good morning.
Good morning.
All right, you've heard the news, NEXIM's credit facility and loans to Nigerian exporters. What are the advantages within the context of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement?
Thank you very much. I think this is one good way to prepare Nigerians and Nigeria SMEs for the opportunity that this African Continental Trade Agreement has come to offer.
Okay.
Nigeria is a population of 189, 190 million people. Now we are going to be dealing with 1.3 billion people. So that's a huge market for us. And unless we are prepared to take part in that actively, we may not be able to really obtain the opportunity that has to offer.
Yeah.
So I think it's a step in the right direction to begin to put building blocks together. First, to empower SMEs to be able to compete. Second, to give them access to finance. I mean, there are various challenges they face.
Indeed.
But basically, a very fundamental one is access to finance. That access to finance will help them to, procure equipment that they need. It will help them to, build their capacity so that they can really compete globally, because that's what it is now. It will also help them to really be able to do licensing and all those things that they need to do so that they can really compete effectively. So for me, it's a very fantastic way to go. In fact, we need to do more, if you ask me. 24 billion is still a very small amount. I mean, when you look at the population size that we're dealing with.
Indeed.
But indeed, since we have started, I guess we'll have to do more in that direction.
Indeed.
Export is very important, as we know. This is one way that can help us to address the issue of exchange rate situation that we find ourselves.
Yeah.
If we are able to trade more externally, then we can have that hard foreign currency that we are relying heavily on oil for. It's a way to diversify our economy. It's a way to bring in foreign FX. It's a way to get people to work.
Indeed.
And so it's very splendid. For me, I see it as good news. And also see it as a very good news coming from NEXIM, because this is one bank that is so strategic for the growth of exports. And I've not seen so much about them in the previous few years.
Yeah.
So, but this is coming at this right time. It's positioning us to be able to take advantage of all that this has to offer. And I think it's a good way to go. So if I have my way, I think they should double, even triple the amount, and enlarge the scope for SMEs in the country. They may have to do more in terms of capacity building. Beyond the issue of just getting access to finance. I think when you are competing globally, there are issues around quality of products that you have to really deal with. There is issues around structure of SMEs themselves. I mean, we know a lot of SMEs in Nigeria are not structured. So you can't be doing trade internationally if you don't have the structures that are required to be able to do all of that. So these are very critical areas beyond finance. But if finance can assist you to be able to put those things in place, fantastic. That's good.
Very good. Interesting. You mentioned the word trade, as it were, and that's virtually the essence of this agreement in the first place. Which brings me to the question of, SMEs are vital to major economies, as we already know. So, what are the prospects for competitiveness under the auspices of this free trade agreement?
Okay. So, I mean, you are now thrown into the jungle. That's what it is. So. You are protected. Yes. Up to this moment. there are guides here and there. There are things that have been put in place to restrict importation, to restrict so many other things. But now when you have this free trade agreement, under certain conditions, relaxed rules, everybody can trade in Africa. So it offers a lot of challenges for those who don't have the competitive mindset. And not just the mindset, also the practical aspects to be able to deal with all of that. So first is that it encourages you to do things right. It encourages you to provide quality products or services, as the case may be. It encourages you to be a global player.
Indeed.
You know, so, and to do all of that, you know, you must be prepared for them. So for me, those are things that we have to really think about. I mean, we were talking, before I came into the studio, we're talking about our ports. Now, this is the time to address the issue we have the ports.
That's true.
You know, because you can't have that kind of congestion and constraint and, you know, unable to clear your goods and unable to take in, bring out your goods. And you say you are competitive. It cannot go, it's not going to be like that. There must be conscious effort, and it must be as early as possible for us to get this right. Because transportation is a key aspect of bringing in goods and taking out goods, as the case may be. So this is on one hand, it is good because it opens us up. On the other hand, if we don't prepare well, then it's going to be a challenge. And the challenges, we are already extracting them now. We see them, we know them. But we have to prepare a typical SME to be able to trade internationally. Nigeria imports more than we export as we speak now.
Indeed, that's true.
In fact, we import almost 90% of what we do. If you look at what you are wearing, what I'm wearing, a lot of them are imported items. There. So this is an opportunity for us to do that. And we have very fantastic products that we can export. Even from fashion, simple things as good as fashion, agricultural produce, we can begin to then convert them. There are value chains that to some of these things I'm talking about that we can take advantage of and then begin to take to the other markets. In fact, the only major thing we are known for in Africa now is the industry around the is it Hollywood or what do you call it now? So
Nollywood go.
Yeah, so that's the one that the entertainment industry. That's one we are known for now. But we can also be known for fashion. Indeed. We can be known for agriculture and agricultural value chain.
Yeah, talking about the non-oils.
Exactly. These are where we have very good opportunities.
We can expand on
we can expand them, we can deepen them, we can be the leader in all those areas. And we have what it takes. We have the population. We have people who have the mental attitude. We have people who have the smartness to be able to do all these things. When you go to other African countries, they respect us. And they know that we make things happen if we really want to make it happen. And I think we should leverage on that.
Very good. Now, in terms of, I know you already mentioned one or two challenges, but I'd still like you to focus on that. What challenges, or the main one, do you emphasize credit-wise in terms of this free trade agreement and especially to the SMEs, as it were?
Okay, so the most important one I will emphasize is about the quality of output. Okay. Because really when you are in a competition, your product must sell for itself. The customer out there is not looking for finance. He's not looking for this a Nigerian, this is a Ghanaian, because all these things will be competing now. So, but how do you get your product to be acceptable in the international market? Indeed. From simple processing to basic packaging, to simple marketing efforts, to simple relationship management, customer service. These are small issues that they are very critical for you to be accepted out there. And so that's very important. The second one is that a lot of SMEs in Nigeria are micro-enterprises. And so they are more or less self-employed people. So we need to begin to migrate to building more around the small and medium. It's like in a football match, the midfield is very critical. So you have to migrate to be able to do businesses that have some level of size that can have very good structure on ground. And that way you also can then attract, finance that we are talking about. Indeed. So if you are an SME, if a medium enterprises, you have the potential to attract, finance than a self-employed individual who's just maybe a portfolio carrier, as the case may be. So those are areas that we have to focus on. I've mentioned the issue of easy access to transportation and all of that. I don't want to re-emphasize that, but it's very, very, for me, it's very important because a lot of these goods, I mean, especially when you're talking about manufacturing, will go through the ports. And if they are not easy to get out or to push out, as the case may be, if you don't walk around that area, then it becomes very, very difficult for us to be able to maximize the benefit that this opportunity is presenting.
Good. Now, looking inwards, how would you rate SME initiatives in Nigeria? Is the market there, realistically?
Okay, so the market is there. By size. The market is there by size. I mean, I'm looking at 190 million people.
Okay.
So that's the market. But how empowered is the market is the issue. So we are just now talking about minimum wage is 30,000 naira. So what do you have the capacity to buy? What's the disposable income of an average Nigeria? That's why productivity is still very low. Because an average person doesn't have the purchasing power to buy things that he would like to buy. And there's no access to credit out there that can make it, even if he has access to credit. Now, the ability to repay those loans becomes very difficult because the income is low. So we have, those are drivers of, productivity in the first place. Those are the demand has to be there. Where a lot of people are poor and they are unable to, they have only minimum income. So they buy only necessities rather than things that are, can improve their quality of life and that can make them do better. So I'm thinking that in this area of the SMEs, that's one area that has curtailed the ability to even produce.
Indeed.
Because you produce only where there's demand. The demand must be there. So we need to really see how we can enhance productivity. And the effort, and I've seen this in several places, that government's efforts at supporting SMEs is loud everywhere, but it's not coordinated. So I see that Central Bank has their own initiative, SMEDA has its own initiative, Nexim is doing its own fantastic things. The states, various governments are setting up agencies here and there. How are we coordinating all of these initiatives? The financial industry, banking industry, a lot of banks are having SME desks here and there. How do we coordinate all of this to make sure that we have a total package for the SMEs in terms of support? And those support will be around, we've talked about finance, we talked about capacity, we talk about availability of infrastructure.
All right. And on that note, I'd like to thank you very much, Tunde Poopola, MD, CRC Credit Bureau. Many thanks for your thoughts on those issues. I'd like to thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.